Good evening. I don't want to appear self-indulgent tonight, but I urge viewers to read what I have written in today's Sydney's Daily Telegraph, Brisbane's Courier Mail and the Gold Coast Bulletin, where I argue the certain truth that we continue to be wrapped and trapped in a vortex of alarmism, engendering an almost permanent state of coronavirus fear. Even though, while almost 4 million people have died, that is 0.04% of the world's population. But the breathless headlines continue. And it seems to average people that we're back into lockdown. If you live in certain parts of Sydney, you can't travel anywhere. You may well be fully vaccinated, or you've had one needle. You know no one with the virus, but you're banned from Queensland, Victoria, South Australia, WA, Tasmania and the Northern Territory. What's the problem? Well, I told you in that article that I've written today that the tactics used by government are confusion and fear. Try this for confusion. The total number of cases today in Greater Sydney is 18. But there are 11 new cases. How do we get to 11 new cases? Well, it's a grade 4 maths assignment. You see, 13 of the 18 cases were yesterday. And because the other cases were reported after 8 p.m. last night, they're tomorrow's cases. You with me? So 18, take away 13, which were from yesterday, add the 6 for tomorrow, and go to the top of the class. You get 8. Get 11. Sorry, you get 11. Gladys Berejiklian had to delay a press conference today because she might have been regarded as a close contact, having been at a National Party dinner on Tuesday night. All those guests have been told they have to self-isolate until July 6, and Gladys might have been one of them, but don't worry, Gladys has got the health bureaucrats on side. She was a casual contact, so she's okay. But thousands and thousands of people vaccinated, in contact with no one, are locked up like battery hens. If this is not bull manure, I have lost my sense of smell. But hang on, New South Wales MPs were today locked out of the Parliament. If they were inside, they couldn't go anywhere, and if they were outside, they couldn't go inside. And yet, because of this, 11 new cases. All of Greater Sydney has been shut off from the rest of Australia. 1,000 people from Sydney were going to the State of Origin match in Brisbane on Sunday. They're locked out, whether they're vaccinated or not. Their tickets will be refunded, but weren't we told that vaccination was the passport to being able to move around? But it doesn't fit the fear and confusion scenario that I've outlined in my article today. Throw in a little bit of titillating social talk that the salon of celebrity hairdresser Joe Bailey was declared an exposure site. So delightful human being that Joe is, he closed his doors because an infectious case attended his salon last Sunday. And the salon, quote, we're told, spans 2 floors, has long been a draw card for royalty and celebrities, including Princess Diana, Kate Blanchett, Elle Macpherson and Kylie Minogue. What the hell has this got to do with it? Except that Joe Bailey's clients are now frightened and confused, which is what I've written about. Note one thing you're not told. You know what I'm going to say, don't you? How many of these cases are serious? Answer, none. How many of these people who've tested positive were so sick they needed to go to hospital? None. Why aren't we told? It doesn't fit the fear and alarmism, does it? That I've talked about for months. But now they think they can trap the Prime Minister. Here's a golden opportunity to blame the Morrison government. Why? The vaccination program isn't going nearly as well as it should, and the quarantine question is unresolved. And voters don't like being locked up. So blame Scott Morrison. Here is proof positive my point about confusion. Why blame the vaccination program? There are people in Greater Sydney who are fully vaccinated. It means nothing. You can't go anywhere. So aren't people entitled to ask, what's the point of being vaccinated? Or am I missing something? And wasn't it Gladys Berejiklian who got the plaudits for saying, we've got to learn to live with this? Now she's closing Sydney down and creating another wave of hysteria so that the rest of Australia is closing down Greater Sydney. The irony here is that Scott Morrison may be hoisted on his own petard, to use a phrase from Shakespeare's play Hamlet, which basically means you're blown up by your own bomb. What is the bomb? The bomb is the Prime Minister failing to live by what he told the nation on Sunday, the 15th of March 2020. What he said then is true today, but he stopped saying it. Did he forget he said it? Prime Minister, if I was advising you, I'd tell you to say it now, again, over and over. From March 15 last year, the Prime Minister told the nation, quote, the truth is that while many people will contract this virus, it's clear, just as people get the flu each year, it is a more severe condition than the flu, but for the vast majority, around 8 in 10 is our advice, It'll be a mild illness and it'll pass. However, for older Australians and those who are more vulnerable, he said, particularly those in remote communities and those with pre-existing health conditions, it's a far more serious virus. He said then, our aim in all of this is to protect the most vulnerable, the most at risk. Well, only one part of that statement from Sunday, March 15 is wrong, when the Prime Minister said for 8 out of 10, it will be a mild illness and it will pass. In the world today, that figure is 99.3%, over 9 out of 10. It's a mild illness. In Australia, 99.5%, 9.5 out of 10 mild. Only one person in all of Australia is seriously ill. But what do we get from the woman who said we must learn to live with it? Gladys Berejiklian. New South Wales, she said today, is in the scariest period since the pandemic began. Gladys, you're better than this. Unless Laura Dodsworth is right, whom I quoted last night to you and in my newspaper story today, and I suspect she is, that government is using fear and control to manipulate the population. Well, I'm sorry, that race has been run. Government isn't going to get away with this tactic for much longer. Start telling us the truth. In all the alarmist talk today, how many of these cases are serious? Answer, in the whole of Australia, which is now paralysed again, one case. I have said many times that there are many casualties in this coronavirus story. Truth is the greatest. What do you think? Email me. I want to hear from you. alan@skynews.com.au or the text line 0414 000 848.